everyone, welcome to Skill Toy Tactics. Today we are going to be taking a look at the best yo-yos, in my opinion, for all 5 styles of yo-yoing. Now, if you are not aware, there are 5 ways to yo-yo. There's either 1A single string, 2A, which is 2 responsive yo-yos, 3A, which is 2 unresponsive yo-yos, 4A or off string, where the responsive yo-yo is flying off the string, and 5A, where you have an unresponsive yo-yo but the string is not attached to your finger. Now we're going to be taking a look at 4 yo-yos for 1A that I consider to be the best of the best, all the way from beginner all the way to professional. We're going to be looking at 2A yo-yos that are absolutely amazing for beginners and professionals. We're going to be looking at just one set of 3A, one off-string yo-yo, and one 5A yo-yo, because there's only really one yo-yo that I recommend for both beginners and professionals to use. And so here's a little introduction, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. Now 1A is a style of yo-yo where this is the first style that everybody's going to be getting into because it's the most conventional style. And this is generally done with an unresponsive yo-yo where it does not come back to your hand when you pull on it. So that allows you to do like awesome, insane tricks like speed combos, horizontal, whip tricks, all different kinds of tricks that you would not normally be able to do with a yo-yo that comes back when you tug on it. However, everyone has to start somewhere, and that somewhere is with a responsive yo-yo like this Fizz here. This is the best beginner yo-yo on the market, in my opinion. It isn't necessarily the most responsive yo-yo. However, because it's not super responsive, it's great for getting into tricks like the elevator, where the string does not snag the yo-yo. It is responsive enough so that you can learn how to actually throw it and get it to come back to your hand. And you can also learn some standard, regular, basic tricks just to get you going. You can learn some of your first mounts. This is all around the best beginner yo-yo on the market. It's available only on yoyotricks.com. So this is my first recommendation for a beginner getting into 1A style yo-yo is the Fizz. Now, once you've learned how to actually throw and you're consistent in getting the yo-yo to come back up, and you've learned a few tricks with that, like rock the baby, walk the dog, etc., you're going to want to get an unresponsive yo-yo. Now, what I would highly recommend is getting a very nice metal yo-yo as your first unresponsive, because these yo-yos are just better than plastic. But if you're not willing to commit and you don't want to spend like, $40 over $50, sometimes even over $50 for a metal yo-yo, and you just want something cheap that's plastic, that's unresponsive, look no further than the Replay Pro. Now, this yo-yo is amazing for unresponsive tricks at a budget price. It actually did win national championships in 2015. So this yo-yo is actually extremely good at teaching you the basics of unresponsive yo-yoing, like some of your basic whips like hook. This yo-yo is like exceptionally good for a $16 yo-yo. You'll be able to do like barrel rolls, all different kinds of tricks like poppin' fresh, and just everything, basically any trick that you want. Now, this isn't the best trick for competition style yo-yoing, even though it did win nationals. But if you're looking for a plastic budget yo-yo, look no further than the Replay Pro. This is exceptional for the price. Now, for your first metal yo-yo, most people are going to recommend that you get the standard Shutter yo-yo. The Shutter is an amazing yo-yo. It's one of my favorite yo-yos that have ever been created. However, for somebody who's just getting into unresponsive yo-yoing, if you're wanting to get something that will make unresponsive tricks easier to learn, get a wider metal yo-yo. And so the Shutter is awesome, but for beginners especially, you can't beat the Shutter wide angle. It is wider than the standard Shutter, so that means that when you're learning how to first do your first trapeze, you'll be able to hit the trick a lot easier. Your first Eli hops, Ouija bow, any trick that is basically a hop or anything like even like a whip, it's just easier to get the string into the gap of the yo-yo with a wider yo-yo. And the Shutter wide angle is a little bit more expensive. However, the Shutter wide angle ultimately is just a better playing yo-yo. So if you're actually wanting to think about maybe competing, you'll want to compete with the Shutter wide angle over a basic Shutter just because of that extra width. This plays a lot like the Shutter itself because it is modeled after it, but because of that extra width, it's just a lot better all around for any kind of yo-yo that you are. So if you're wanting to get an awesome metal yo-yo for 1A, totally check out the Shutter wide angle. Now, maybe there's some of you out there who are thinking, listen, I don't care about price, I don't care about cost, I want the best of the best. Well, thankfully, I have 2 recommendations for you on the best of the best. I know I said I was only going to showcase 4 1A yo-yos, but I lied. I've actually got 2 more to show you, and that is the, we're going to be showing you the Shutter Elite and the G-Force. The Shutter Elite is my personal favorite out of the 2. The Shutter Elite is a bimetal yo-yo, which means that they put stainless steel rims onto the aluminum. This yo-yo comes at $130, which is extremely expensive in my opinion. However, this is the most stable yo-yo I've ever played with. So if you are wanting something that is extremely stable and will literally be able to take any tricks that you will learn in the future, if you're wanting to plan on competing and you're not quite there yet, or maybe you are there, this is the best yo-yo on the market in my opinion. This yo-yo is just amazing for all different kinds of tricks like speed combos, tech combos, anything that you throw at it. This yo-yo is absolutely just a beast. You will absolutely love playing with this throw. Now, the next yo-yo that I recommend it's my second favorite yo-yo that is on the market, and this yo-yo is the G-Force. Now, what's different about this one from the Shutter Elite is this yo-yo has polycarbonate body, which is plastic, and then stainless steel rims placed onto the plastic. So what that does is it makes more of the weight onto the rims rather than in the center. So that makes this yo-yo even more stable than the Shutter Elite. So this yo-yo plays exceptionally good, and honestly, I go back and forth as to which one's my favorite. And like even with this yo-yo is a little bit wider. So that makes tricks like horizontal tricks and all those kinds of things a little bit easier, of course. Both of these yo-yos are absolutely exceptional. So if you're wanting a super nice, best yo-yo on the market, totally check out the Shutter Elite and the G-Force. Now let's start talking about some of the more unconventional styles of yo-yoing, like 2A. 2A, you've got 2 responsive yo-yos. They are extremely responsive, and they are not beginner yo-yos. They are a special shape, specifically for looping. And a loop basically just looks just like this, and with 2A looping you will want to do that with both hands at the same time. Now this can be exceptionally difficult. You can do different things like crossovers like this. You can even throw in, see, like I'm still having a little bit of trouble learning this trick myself. You can do like loops and then do like an around the world with one hand. This style is really fun, extremely difficult, but I've got 2 recommendations for you. The first one is the yoyotricks.com match. Now the match yo-yos are what I learned on. This is excellent for getting into looping, and because of the different smaller bearing that they have inside this yo-yo, it is exceptionally good for competition style tricks. This is like basically kind of the same design that competitors are using. So this yo-yo is really consistent with its loops. So like I learned different tricks like crossovers. I'm currently learning how to do my flips and hop the fences, because eventually you'll be able to loop and do different flips at the same time. This yo-yo around the world's really well. So this is an excellent yo-yo to get into 2A, and also if you just want to stick with these, you'll be great. Now if you want the best of the best, look no further than the Sunrise. Now the Sunrise yo-yos are my favorite looping yo-yos on the market for good reasons, because they are extremely consistent and they are a faster looper than like the match yo-yo. So that makes that looping a lot more impressive, a lot faster, and it just is overall a way better yo-yo. It is just really, really fun. Now I wouldn't highly recommend this for beginners because it's so fast. The shape's just slightly different. I learned on the match. Maybe that's why I'm partial to that for beginners. But if you want to just get into it with the Sunrise, then that's great. But if you are like really wanting like a super awesome 2A yo-yo, they're a little bit more expensive than the match, but they are faster. They are like, these yo-yos are a lot of fun to play with. Now, I'm a little rusty on my 2A because I haven't played it in a few months, but this is like an exceptionally fun style to play. I recommend these yo-yos highly. So if you're wanting to get into 2A style yo-yoing, look no further than the match and the Sunrise, which is in my opinion the best of the best. Now we're going to talk about 3A. Now 3A uses 2 unresponsive yo-yos. Now these yo-yos do not come back up when you tug on them. Instead, you'll have to perform binds for both the yo-yos. Now the different tricks that you're going to be able to do with them are just basically you're going to be throwing both yo-yos down and then getting them into different knots and tangles and then untangling them. Rolls, trapezes, incorporating the strings are basically entangled to each other, and doing tricks inside those tangles is basically how you're going to be playing. Now, my favorite way to play 3A is with shorter strings because it's just so much easier when you have a lot shorter strings. Now, the yo-yo I recommend is the Canon. Now, don't look anywhere else for any other 3A yo-yos. The Canon are superb. Now, I know a lot of people recommend plastic yo-yos for your first 3A yo-yos because with 3A yo-yos, they are going to be hitting each other and dinging. And so if you get metal ones when you're a beginner, you're going to be dinging them a lot. So if you can look past the dings, I recommend getting metal yo-yos first. I even actually private messaged yoyotricks.com Brian Duncan. He told me he highly recommends that metal yo-yos are actually the best way to get started in his opinion, contrary to what says in the website. So these yo-yos are just exceptionally good for getting into 3A because they're so stable and they're like a brick on the string, which you don't really want in 1A, but you would want that in 3A. So because of that stability, you're just going to be able to have a lot easier time like learning some of your first different trapezes, like the blue line mount, kind of like this. Now they're super stable, so you're going to be able to actually do just overall just be way better at these tricks with a metal yo-yo than with a plastic yo-yo. Now, if you're also wanting to be like a competitor at this, these are specifically designed for competition. These are awesome yo-yos to get into, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Check out the Canon yo-yos. That is like literally the best for 3A. Now the Spire is the best yo-yo on the market for off-string or 4A. Now I cannot exaggerate this enough. This yo-yo is exceptional for learning how to just land your first off-string throw. This was designed by world champions and yoyotricks.com. So this is designed off of the Icebreaker. I believe it was the Icebreaker that won the world championship in 4A. So this yo-yo is exceptionally good for 4A. Now, if you are like I said, beginner, great yo-yo for beginners. If you are professional, like I said again, this yo-yo was designed to be world champion class. This yo-yo is awesome for all different kinds of off-string tricks. Now, it is also exceptionally good for doing off-string finger spins because it has a finger spin dimple specifically designed for it. So if you're wanting to do off-string finger spins, this yo-yo is also really good for that too. So if you're wanting an off-string yo-yo to just learn how to do off-string, because everybody wants to do that, right? Or if you're wanting a yo-yo, or like, if you're already into off-string and you just want like the best of the best, totally check out the Spire off-string yo-yo on yoyotricks.com. It is exceptional. Now 5A is a really fun style. Basically what it is you've got this little counterweight here instead of it being connected to your finger. And then generally it's a metal yo-yo, but you've got an unresponsive yo-yo, and you're going to be able to do all kinds of different tricks like swings, hops, anything basically where because the string is not connected to your finger, it literally allows for like these awesome tricks to be possible. Like as you're seeing right now, you're seeing me just slam through some awesome tricks that took me a little while to get. This is a difficult style because you've got to get used to actually the force of gravity taking control over the counterweight in different maneuvers like a 360 and different things like that. When I'm looking straight at the camera, I don't hit these tricks properly. There we go. So this is a very fun style. Now to the recommendation itself. I recommend the Canon yo-yo, and you may be saying, I just recommended that for 3A. Well, actually, the Canon yo-yo was specifically designed for 5A. It just also happened to be good for 3A too. So if you're wanting an awesome beginner yo-yo for 5A, get the Canon because it's super stable and awesome. If you're wanting to be a professional, the world champion literally competed with this yo-yo in the world championships. So this yo-yo is also exceptionally good for using to compete, or just honestly just to be really good at 5A. Now, a lot of counterweights are made of plastic, and it hurts because a lot of times you'll be like swinging and it's going to like hit part of your body. It might, it's going to slam, it's going to hit, it's going to go crazy and everything like that. So I bought a $20 chainmail counterweight on yoyotricks.com. Now chainmail, you may think, oh my gosh, it's metal, like this thing's going to bruise the snot out of me. Well, actually that's not true because it's chainmail, it's collapsible. So it's actually like, it doesn't hurt at all. Like it surprisingly does not hurt because it's collapsible. It's collapsible chainmail. Stainless steel chainmail. So if you're, like a medieval fan, you're gonna also love this too because it's literally gonna fulfill both yo-yoing and your weird craze for medieval times. It's also exceptionally good for dinging your yo-yo. That's the downside. It is going to ding your yo-yo if it hits because it is metal. So you might want to weigh it in. Do I want plastic that won't ding my yo-yo but ding my hand, or do I want something that won't ding my hand but ding the yo-yo? So, anyways, those are my recommendations for 5A style yo-yoing, the Canon, and the chainmail counterweight. If you're also thinking about getting into the 5 style of yo-yoing, yoyotricks.com has a case that actually suits exactly what you're looking for. So it's going to have a spot for 1A style yo-yoing, 2A, 2 loopers, 3A right here. You can put 2 unresponsive yo-yos right here, a big circle for off string, some lube spots right there, a big zipper case for string and all different kinds of stuff like that, and another circle here for a 5A yo-yo with the counterweight just kind of sitting on top. Now, also, another thing is that yoyosam.com actually sells a lot of the yo-yos that I've actually recommended. Now, Yo-Yo-Sam is an exceptionally awesome website. They've been really great to me, and I'm really thankful for them. So if you're wanting to get any of these yo-yos, check them out on Yo-Yo-Sam before you check them out anywhere else because this place is awesome. And you can also get deals there. They do deals all the time and different coupons. So wait until there's any kind of even small holiday. They're going to have some sort of deal or coupon that you can use to get 10, 15% off of your purchase. So Yo-Yo-Sam is awesome. So I just wanted to give a heads up to them because I love that company. It is amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. And just like and subscribe. This is an awesome channel where you can do all kinds of learn, Diablo. I've got yo-yo tutorials. I've got all different kinds of stuff like that, as well as reviews and funny videos as well. So totally check those out, and we will see you next time.